Hey y'all, I got my magnificent manifestation month cup. I always get tongue tied with that. And I'll wait till for a few more people to come in. All right, so how are y'all doing? What shows are y'all watching right now? So, like, one of the shows that I'm watching right now is one of the that made me want to start this live is I watched an animated called Danny Dan, and it's about a girl and a guy, a couple of kids from high school that are fighting, spirits, good spirits, bad spirits, and becoming friends throughout the whole show. But in season two, I want to say it's like episode two. It starts off like episode two, three, four, and five. It's a character named Gigi, and where they're going through this house that had caused his parents to try to commit suicide, and the previous tenants throughout history to commit suicide. And then one of the things that they discovered, one of the spirits that was in the house is an evil eye spirit. And this evil eye spirit, whoever he looked at or made eye contact with, he'll make them want to commit suicide. So Gigi, he was in a house with his friends, Momo. Um, I forgot her name. It's like an old Turbo Granny. It's a character, a little yokai named Turbo Granny, and I want to pronounce his name Okaru. So it's Gigi, Turbo Granny, Momo, and Okaru, and they're fighting. They discover this evil spirit. He's called the Evil Eye. Turbo Granny recognized him and said, "That's the Evil Eye. Do not stare into his face." So throughout the show, Gigi mistakenly looking at the evil eye spirit in the eyes, and in doing so, he's going through a lot of pain, but also seeing the history of the evil eye and how he came to be. And one of the things he came to be was where he was a sacrifice to a volcano. And before he, was sacrificed, he was locked away as a child. And the only thing he could do throughout his childhood was watch other kids play throughout the window. He didn't have like no human interaction, no parents, no loving, just like an empty playroom. And, eventually he was sacrificed, murdered, burnt to death, and, buried underneath the house. And one of the things that he said throughout his childhood in their room was, "I just want to play. I just want to play with somebody." So Gigi, now knowing this evil spirit's past and how he came to be, he was rushing to the place in the house where the body was, and talking to the spirit and trying to be empathetic. It was like, "I didn't know what you had to go through. That had to be horrible." And he's crying, and any person will feel for somebody like that. But Turbo Granny, being very older, being a yokai, she was like, "Hey, you can't sympathize with him. You can't show him any kindness, no matter what tragic backstory that he has. You can't help him." Gigi, not having a care in the world, he was like, "Oh, I gotta help him. You don't understand his past. He's just a hurt person, hurting people." So, he ran to the body. He was a kid and saying that, "I will play with you." And, he's making childish gestures and playing with the child. And Turbo Green is like, "No, don't do that." And, they're having this bonding moment until, this evil eye spirit takes over Gigi's body. And he has complete control, and he wants to, kill the human race. So even though Gigi was showing him kindness, and he had a very traumatic backstory that Gigi understood, and Gigi played with him like a child. The one thing that he wanted most, he still ended up just using Gigi and still wanting to, kill the human race. So out the stories, out the show, later on in the episodes, they are trying to, he's making them hurt. He's making the evil eye spirit is making Gigi, he's possessing his body and making him hurt his friends, hurt himself, do things that he would never ever do. And one time they're trying to, exercise Gigi, but Gigi pleaded and cried, was like, please don't kill him. Don't kill the evil eye spirit. He went through so much. It's so sad. Da 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 da. Understandably, they had the little Bonnie moment music playing in the background. But still later on during that same episode, he ends up, almost killing Mama, the girl, choking her out, dang near killing her. And during that moment, he realized he was a danger to his friends, to himself, and he had a bridge from his friends that was becoming bigger and bigger because of this spirit, even though he wanted to help them. And the spirit didn't really want any help. He was sad. He had a terrible life. The spirit, was depressed. It was a very tragic story. But, I'm pretty sure, later on in the episode, they're going to be able to get control of the evil eye spirit and give him, probably a happy ending. But it is a real life lesson in that we can't help everybody. We can't be trying to save everybody, even though they have this traumatic upbringing, things happening to them, just anything. We can't help and save everybody. If we do, we're going to end up hurting ourselves. And they're not going to care sometimes nothing about it because, they're feeding off the energy and they're using you. The same way the evil eye spirit was using Gigi to hurt other people. And it's going to cause a rift between, you and yourself, your family, your friends, the same way it did with Gigi and his friends. They kind of, they still wanted to be there for him, but they had to, put some type of distance in between themselves and him. And even in his head, there was a bigger rift going on inside his head than what was really there. So it made him kind of distant from his friends also. Like, you can't help everybody in there. You're messing up. I don't want to use their spiritual journey. So you don't know. You can't help. You're getting away of them learning whatever they have to learn, or picking them up every time they fall over mistakes they're having. If you keep picking somebody up, they're not going to learn to stand up. They're going to learn that somebody's going to come and pick them up, hopefully. And then, and then just because, somebody that you're helping somebody, I don't think consciously, but unconsciously, they don't really care the side effects that happen. They're just going to make the same mistakes, and it's going to affect you. And this goes, family and friends, and I know it's hard with people that you can't. It's very hard to see somebody, making the same mistakes, doing something harmful that we see for ourselves that, could be, easily fixed for anything else. And it's not our job to change people, or it's not our job to heal make somebody heal faster than they're ready to learn or to be a better person. What our version of a better person is, that's not fair to them. So, everybody has their own journey here on earth, spiritually, mentally, and you can't rush that. And if anything, you rushing that, you trying to help people along the way, you're messing up their lesson. You're hindering them. You un, unintentionally, you're harming that person. You're not helping them to learn how to walk on your own. And that's a codependent relationship. You're teaching them to be dependent on you. Same thing with, with some parents and kids. It's our job to, teach kids um how to learn and go about in the world. But some parents take advantage of that. They limit what they teach their children so the children can be completely dependent on them. And also with that, negative mindsets, they can pull you down. So you're not only affecting the other person, you're affecting yourself. Whatever spiritual journey you're on, maybe you may be um hitting a speed bump, you may be, going through a high, being the happiest ever been in a moment, but constantly helping people to the detriment of yourself and the detriment of that person's, it's not good for you. Just being constantly around negativity, and we know words, life and death is, I don't know, it's the saying, life and death is on the power of the tongue. I don't know if it's like y'all, but I try for myself. I try not to speak negativity about myself or about my situations. So being around a person who may not have the same mindset as that, or have the same willpower to not talk negatively, even though they may not be, they're talking about themselves. Being around all that negative energy can rub off on you. And then whatever business you're telling them, whatever your personal business, wherever it be, it can be something light. Well, oh, I moved into this new house. Oh, I got a job. Or they see you in the car. Something that you can't really hide. They might not say it, but they're going to be thinking and putting out these negative waves and negative energy attaching to you, worrying. They may not be trying to just worry because the type of mindset that they are at their journey, they just worry about the worst case scenario. And unintentionally, there things that happen with you in your life, they just pop up the worst case scenario in their head and ruminate on it. And that's another source of bad energy towards you. So you can, help people, but there's a limit. When you start, physically and mentally being weighted with their negativity, when you're constantly helping them with the same problem, especially some that's preventative, it's time to let I want to say let that person go, but having a conversation or changing the subject when they bring that up, or sometimes just being quiet and not interacting. I think this is called gray rocking. And sometimes you can be outright saying like, "Hey, I love you, but I can't carry this. I don't want to hear no more of this. Can we change the subject? You like it, I love it. I can't hear it. I can't hear no more." They may get mad, they may not, but if they get mad, they shouldn't. What about you being upset all the time hearing all that? They'll be okay. And I said this before, you're harming yourself also. You're not only harming that person, you're harming yourself. Kindness without, having any type of boundaries is self-harm. You're not protecting yourself, you're not protecting your mindset, you're not protecting your physical or whatever. They may be putting you in some dangerous situations. Or maybe just something, you don't have to be dangerous, maybe something just uncomfortable situations. You can't have that. And with that, we can't heal anybody who doesn't want to be healed. We can't force them on their spiritual journey. We can't make them anew. We can't make them be a better person in our head that we think, however a better person is. People have to choose their growth for themselves. And also, people can't grow if you're hindering their growth. Helping them, there's nothing wrong with helping people and being at their support pillar, but helping them 24/7 with the same exact problem, same stuff, different toilet, and it's, throughout the months, years, you've seen that it's being hectic on them, you're gonna have to, cut it out. You're preventing their growth. What if how babies learning to walk? You have to, to an extent, them to fall on their little tushy. You don't have to let them fall over dangerous situation. But if a parent or whoever is constantly holding that baby, or even when that baby tries to stand up on the couch and sit on the table, you snatch them up and sit them right back down. They're never going to learn how to walk, and you can't blame that baby for doing it. And also, again, you harm yourself because you always have to carry that person. And when you choose to carry a person 24/7 all the time, you're gonna get burnt out. A person who refuses to grow, you're pouring into this person, you're gonna get dried out. You're gonna get burnt out. It's good to forgive people, but also have discernment. I know I hate when people use Bible scriptures and God as, forgiveness as a cop out to being a doormat and letting somebody walk all over you and condoning negative behaviors. Have some discernment. God wants us to be forgive, but He doesn't want us to be a dummy. Have some discernment. Okay, so some phrases that they can help out are some things to do. Like I said, I can be here for you, but I can't carry this anymore. Hey, I can help in this way, but not again. Or I can help you in this way, but not this way. And you have to say, I had to learn this through my own mentor. That person, they're gonna be okay. They're gonna fuss, hoop, holler, cry, but at the end of the day, they're gonna figure it out and they're gonna be okay. And whether they choose to stay upset with you or whatever, if they just choose to be upset with you forever, do you really want that type of friendship or that relationship or whatever that is held together on you doing certain things whether you want to do or not? That's not a real relationship. Choosing peace over potential. Just because somebody has the potential to grow, the potential to do whatever you see in them, that doesn't mean they want to do it, or doesn't mean they can, or if they would have done it by now. So it doesn't always pay to be kind, especially when your kindness is one sided. Put yourself first. It's good to be a helping hand in this world and support, but put yourself first. Father, Mother, God, they do not want you to be a doormat. If anything, the Christians say we are made in the image of God. God isn't a doormat. Y'all know God forgives us, but they ain't just letting us do whoop de whoop de whoop de whoop. Oh, I'm just gonna do whatever I want, live however I want, not have any spiritual cleansing, discernment, a spiritual path. Your spirit guides aren't even like that. Your guardian angels, your ancestors aren't like that. You wouldn't run all over them and expect them to do everything and protect you. So why wouldn't you have boundaries just like them? But don't do that. And I want to hear from y'all. So have y'all, you can comment, DM me on Instagram or whatever about a time where you try to help somebody and it backfired on you. You probably had a lot of stories. I had to, learn from that. And probably, a time where you probably struggle with setting boundaries when you really cared for somebody. And probably some success stories too. A time that you had you was helping somebody and you had to set your boundaries and you completely did it. Oh, and I have a new book. I already know. You already know. I have my Answers to Alter book for kids. Food for the Black Child. It's available on Amazon. We talk about ancestor authors. The ancestor author. Our grandmama's dresser and things like that. And they also talk about ancestor authors in different cultures, especially Christian. Y'all got authors too. Y'all just don't know it. You don't call it it. Yes, sir. But this is available on Amazon. Hoodoo for the Black Child, Ancestor Authors by Guardian Out of Mars. And I just wrote this. I was doing a giveaway on Instagram. I haven't forgot about y'all. I was waiting for this book to be completed because I wanted to include this in the shipping. It's Hoodoo for the Black Child, Spells and Workings. So it talks about sweetening jars and things that a child can do. And, it can be, a child can do it by themselves or with a parent. You have money bowls in here. Different color, the different things that colors represent. I always get tongue tied. That's okay. Days of the week. Different days of the week and what they mean. And again, I will list I'll list the link in this description. It will be my link tree. Different moon phases, how to identify different moon phases and their meaning and how to work with them. And also a glossary in there you can see a different little glossary in there to have the meaning of different words. And I also have chakra for kids. I don't have one handy on me. But this is me. But I wrote these books because, anybody, who started their hoodoo journey, it's very, we don't have just like a plethora of resources out there. So I wanted to make it easier for kids, the next generation coming up, where they don't have to look high and low for a reputable resource, especially a resource that was created by a person of color, not somebody hiding behind a picture of a person of color. There's a lot of hoodoo and spell workers are written by white people and they hide behind a black picture. So these are available. Oh, I got something in my eye. Yes, you did. So that's it for today. I will try to, look up on my post on my podcast a bit more, and I'll try to show up here a bit more. Also, let's see. Well, that's it for today. Well, thank y'all. Comment, like, whatever, share your opinions and things like that. All right, see y'all next time.